ICLEI, Local Governments for Sustainability, is a global network of local and regional governments that are committed to sustainability. Our membership is in more than 120 countries, and we have membership of more than 1,500 cities, district municipalities, or metropolitan governments or regional governments worldwide. So we have been pushing the agenda that local contributions can impact global efforts. So we could influence solving the environmental crisis or introduce sustainability at the local level. So after 30 years, we are recommending our sustainability for local and regional governments should be low emission, nature-based, resilient, circular, and people-centered development. In 2015, when Paris Agreement was adopted, the nations had plans, and they turned this into NDC, they called. But this was prepared before Paris Agreement was adopted. And there is an important change in the Paris Agreement. It says Paris Agreement recognizes the importance of engagement of all levels of government. This was not the case before. So what we are saying now, in 2020, the parties, the national governments, should bring their new plans that is exactly fulfilling this spirit, which means the new national plans should be developed and implemented in collaboration with local governments. So our hope is that the decision to the national governments, when they go back home in the next couple of months, while they're preparing their new climate plans, they should invite their local and regional governments, they should ask their climate emergency targets, they should ask about data from their local governments, and they could develop a more ambitious climate plan and bring it to Glasgow. That is very true, because the problems or the opportunities are beyond the capacity or the volume of municipal budgets. We are talking about new cities being redesigned or complete renovation of the buildings in a 10 million city. These are not possible with only municipal budgets. And it's also true that there's a global climate fund available, but it is not reaching to the cities. That's what we are hoping this year. For the first time, climate negotiators had a specific discussion on climate and climate finance and sustainable cities. There are new instruments, like we have a fund announced in New York Climate Summit to support the project preparation facilities. There is initiatives that is bridging the banks and the local governments so that they can have a shorter administration process so that the money can much easily reach to the cities worldwide. So we are seeing that there is more and more understanding that the global climate funds should reach to the cities as particularly not just mitigation potential, but also through local governments, the sustainability impact, saving livelihoods, serving to sustainability goals can be much quicker by investing in urban areas. Obviously, Paris Agreement 1.5 degree is not just very simply a target, it's a new way of living. Especially in the old world, we have to redesign all our cities. And circular economy in the new commission is addressed as the #1 opportunity because it is resource efficiency and it is rethinking our all cycles of our materials from cradle to grave. In fact, in COP, we have brought our experience. For example, city of Turku is leading our circular economy network with an ICLEI, and they particularly connect their circular economy practices to climate neutrality goals. So we have been benefiting from this experience, and we are sharing this experience also with Asian cities or Latin American cities. So we believe it's not just mitigation technological solutions. We have to have a holistic thinking, we have to have a systems approach, and circular economy enables us to do in a much more comprehensive way. Let's say, not power, but the reality is that when we are living in an urban world, nothing can be achieved if you ignore the potential, or if you don't seize the power of urban actors. So this is exactly the reality, that it's not at the end. It's not the end of the world if a national government gives up. So there will be still local governments. But it is true, local governments also cannot achieve this alone. I think the experience in America and Brazil is showing us that the value of multi-level collaboration. And luckily, there are still democratic processes going on. They will also have new elections. So we hope during this phase where we show that the public institutions are not only at the capitals, but all the urban jurisdictions, their elected officials, their purchasing power, their municipal councils, their state councils have the capacity and mandate to act public policies. Therefore, everybody should coordinate and should seek for synchronization of all efforts. It's not enough if one says yes, and it's also not the end of the world if one says no. We fully believe this is a very valuable tool. Actually, the first climate emergency declaration was in Australia, in Darabin, one of our members of ICLE. For us, the council decisions announcing climate emergency is giving the political power to the administrations that they should be managing more resources for climate action, they should be more ambitious. And the importance of climate emergency declarations of councils is that it's across political parties, so that the governments can change, they can be from different perspectives of the political arena, but they should not question that we are in an emergency. Whoever comes, they should just take the bar higher. We have seen also the example of city of Bonn, for example, in Germany. Fridays for Future approached to the city hall. Mayor asked them to put their proposals. In July, they adopted an emergency declaration, and in November, the city council adopted a climate neutrality target by 2035. If this emergency declaration or the decision was not there, it will be very hard to get this consensus. So, and we are expanding this all around the world, and one of the first Brazilian cities, for example, the first Brazilian city is Recife, who was here, mayor was here, and we hope he will also replicate this success, that we can have Brazilian cities also expanding climate action by emergency declaration plus climate neutrality targets, much more solid and much more robust. Climate action has started at the local level with members of ICLE even before UN adopted a convention in 1992. What we have started since the first climate conferences, we are coordinating as the voice of local and regional governments to the UNFCCC process. 25 years ago, there were not too many institutions. So we are helping with our members how they can account for their emissions, how can plan for local action, and how can prepare for resilience. And over these years, so many networks, so many institutions came into this process. So now we are acting as the focal point, which means other networks who are involved in this process are also, we are supporting them in terms of convening events here or conveying our messages to the UN. So ICLE coordinates harmonization of this process, and we are the voice towards the UN CCC Secretariat. Well, it was a unique experience. Local and regional governments proposed to the UN agencies that this should not be only one event like in a conference in the end of the year. So after our proposal, this process was open to worldwide. So we had 60 cities and regions Talanoa dialogues in 40 countries. Obviously this created a huge new understanding of multi-level collaboration and dialogue. We hope now this Talanoa experience will help us to revise and upgrade the NDCs next year.